shall.
No.
All right, welcome to SAFC Fan TV and the Sunday Bunch. This week we are streaming live, fingers crossed, so hopefully it's going to be all right. Once again, a big thank you to George and the team at the Hastings Hill who allow us to come along and film on a Sunday. Don't forget, if you're passing the Hastings Hill, make sure you pop in, get something to eat, something to drink. Great place. On the panel this week, then, we have the Mad Mistake, myself, Wee Philly, Sean Middleton, and back again, Michael Bowers on the end. Don't forget, you can take part because we are live. So if you want to ask us a question, then there's a good chance we may even answer it. So please interact with us if you wish. We're going to start then. We would normally start by analysing yesterday's game, of course, the game with Wimbledon. But the big news this week are the potential new investors. So I would like to kick off Michael Dell, John Phelan, Glenn Furman, and Robert Platek. So try and say that when you're drunk. So, yeah, Robert Palatic. Yeah. So, the Mad Mistake. What are your thoughts on that then?
Well, that sounds very exciting, doesn't it? But I don't want to get too happy too soon because things haven't changed before. So I'm hoping it goes through. It'd be absolutely amazing. Be one of the richest clubs in England, probably in the world. But 37 billion that Michael Dell has. It's an amazing amount of money. I know it's like a toy, really, isn't it? If you go into a football club, it's like a bit of hobby for him. But I wish him all the best, and I hope he does take over. I hope Stuart Donald still has a little bit of his shares and still stays at Sunderland because he's doing a great job at this moment in time. But it looks like exciting times ahead.
Sean?
Yeah, it's really exciting times if the deal goes through. I mean, there's a lot of clubs would love to be in talks with these kind of guys, and I mean, we've just got to hope, fingers crossed, they can get it done and it goes through, because potentially, the money what they've got, you can really go places. Very excited.
So, Michael,
I think someone said on Twitter yesterday, do we get a free laptop every time we have a season ticket sold?
Well, we could do with a new laptop so we can get this straight.
Michael, if you're watching this, feel free to sponsor. Feel free to sponsor a free laptop. No, to echo what the other guys have said, yeah. I think what Mad's Mistake said was spot on that. I'm trying to be a bit reserved here because if this comes off, it could be fantastic. We all know that Stuart Donald's been wanting external investment. If this takeover did happen, I'd be shocked if the majority of the investment comes this season in League One. But particularly if we get the Championship, then I think it'll really start to take off. But we've got to get out of this league first. Let's just see what happens. But it could be exciting, yes.
Well, it all, on paper, it all looks fantastic. But we've had an American billionaire before.
Didn't work out.
So, what do you think these would do differently? I mean, I know it's all hypothetical, but
well, obviously, I think that they would. Well, one big thing is that Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven seem to be staying on. And I think I'd said to you in the car on the way here that I think that I'd have liked to have seen the difference between Ellis Short and this was that Ellis Short threw a lot of money at the club, but he didn't seem to have a plan on how to try and actually run it. he didn't seem to have a plan to actually how to actually run it properly. So I think these guys with Donald and Methven, who've run the club excellently, I think it's safe to say since they've came in, I think that's a big major step first and foremost.
Well, I've read that it would be a 10-year plan, and the good thing is, apart from the fact that I'm melting in here.
Where's the aircon?
I think it's good that they've already invested in sports teams, so they've got experience in doing that. And if it is a 10-year plan, Ellis Short, fair play to him, chucked some money into the club, but it was badly spent and it wasn't very well managed. And I think the biggest thing of if we can get these guys on board is the fact that Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven are still there, because and I think they deserve massive credit for getting this in place. And the work that's gone on last season, which has been unseen, putting us financially on a stable footing, it's, it's all down to them. And I think, if at least if they're on board, they'll. I think Stuart Donald made the comment last season at some point saying the ideal scenario for them would be somebody rich coming in and saying, "There's our money, you spend it."
Oh, yes.
And I think that is that's a fantastic way of looking at that, because they will spend it wisely. But you can get carried away. I mean, the guy's supposed to be the 20th or 25th richest bloke in the world, and people are saying, we've become the third richest football club in the world, and so it's exciting and that, but they're not even on board yet. But the thing is, it's very positive outlook really on it looks bright, doesn't it?
Let's face it as well, don't get worried about Ellis Short thing. There's no comparison, Ellis Short to Michael Dell, no comparison whatsoever money-wise. He's got absolutely miles more money than Ellis Short ever did, and more experience.
I think as well that it's, a lot of the stuff is exciting. The way that Phil was describing it there, it just seems like there's an element of a too good to be true kind of aspect, but it does look like, I think that Donald and Meth and what you said are spot on about how we would not be financially investable, is what Charlie Meth said, if it wasn't for those guys coming in. If you look at what Bury, albeit could be saved at the minute, but what happened with Bury and Bolton at the moment could have easily been us, had those guys not came in, rescued us, changed the culture, got us to the point where we weren't hemorrhaging and losing money every single season. And while we might still be losing a bit now, it's not going to be anywhere near as much as what it was before. And it looks like we might be bringing like an even playing field, and now to the point where we're potentially getting some new interest now.
Yeah.
And they're buying the club for peanuts, let's face it.
Exactly.
Got a massive stadium, fantastic fan base. The sky's the limit with this club.
Yeah, there's so much to build on, isn't there?
Well, these guys are not stupid, and that's probably part of the attraction. They can get it for next to nothing, and they'll be looking at the potential of what it can be. Because, we all know the Holy Grail is the Premier League, and that's where the millions and millions of pounds are. And they're astute enough to look at that and see the attraction. So, and people go on about Michael Dell and how he's his fortune, but I mean, you've not to forget, I believe 2 of the 3 other guys are billionaires on their own as well. Yeah. So it's it's a fantastic future to look forward to. Hopefully, if we can get them on board, and 2 of them were there at the match yesterday, so hopefully they liked what they saw. I
think a lot of credit's got to go to Ellis Short as well, man. I mean, people forget that he paid all the debt off. I mean, what kind of owner does that nowadays? He wiped the debt clean, 152 million. You know what I mean? That's put Sunderland Football Club in a clean state, and then obviously Stuart Donald and Charlie Mitham come in, and they've stabilised everything, and they've brought the costs down.
Definitely.
So you've got to give credit to Ellis Short, man.
It started with Short, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. He cleared the debt.
Absolutely. He was hated, and there was a lot of things when he stopped investing, and that's the reason we went down, and because no money got put in. However, you cannot, give him enough credit for what he did, because what he did was, I know as a billionaire you can say,
it's nothing to him.
Of course it's not, but he didn't have to.
No, exactly.
Without him doing that, we wouldn't have been in the final.
Exactly. So exactly, it's got to be a lot of respect given to that bloke. I
was one of those people that was very, very anti-Short during the championship season, because I felt that, although I completely understand, by the way, that he didn't want to invest money in that league, but there was one, I think he could have invested 5-10 million, but 2, that squad shouldn't have got relegated. But that's a different video. But look, fair play. He didn't have to wipe off the debt. He did, and he would have probably turned. I think he said, came out from Donald or in the media since, that he turned down higher financial offers, but he rejected them because it wouldn't have been good for the club. So, as much as I've had my detractions on Short, massively respect to him for that. I can't deny that.
Right, and before we get on to yesterday's game, Colin Major would like to ask the mad mistake, what are the stewards like this season?
Well, I've had no problems so far this season, but I have been avoiding them.
Just been successful.
I've got a good way of avoiding them. I'll tell you one day when I catch up with you.
Don't say that on YouTube, man. They might be watching this.
But so far, so good, Colin.
That's what he looks like if you want to find him. All right.
And this guy's different everywhere.
Putting yourself out there, man.
Right then. yesterday's game then. Last week we made predictions. I said 4-0, so I must have been drinking. You said 3-0. 3-0, the Mad Mistake said.
And I backed 3-0, so I'm gutted. Almost went 3-1.
Well, I said 4-0 and I backed 3-1. So I'm not really bothered. Jacob, who was here last week, said 2-1. But Sean.
I know, he's...
Sean got it spot on.
2 games.
3-1.
Well done to Sean.
Yeah.
Well done.
I've got the Rochdale.
Of course, yeah. Well, we did Rochdale as well, and you also had 2-1 for Rochdale. So he'll be doing the tips later.
This lad
is the
predictions,
tipster.
man.
Right, so on to yesterday's game. It's all smiles. Everybody's happy. It's 4 wins in a row. We're buzzing. You know, 2 weeks ago was all calling for Jack Ross's head, and here we are now. He's the best manager in the world, and what have you. So, Sunderland Wimbledon, who wants to kick us off?
Well, let's face it, I give Jack Ross 10 games at the start of the season, and I still stand by my laurels 10 games because Wimbledon are not a good side. No. They're one of the worst sides in this league. And if we can't beat Wimbledon, we can't dominate a team of that stature, we're not going to win. We're going to be better side.
Jack, you cannot do right for doing wrong. Simple as that, right? You win 4 on the trot, and he's still only going to give you 10 games.
I'll give you 10 games still, but you're doing really well. And there's no point chopping and changing. You stand by your laurels in life, right? If you say 10 games at the start of the season, you mean 10 games. And if you after 10 games, he's in the top 3, he's done a fantastic job. Then you back him all the way. I still back him every match. I still cheer him on. I still go down the touchline and wish him all the best.
Kiss him.
But, oh yes, I'd give him a kiss if I was allowed to, but the steward stopped us.
I'll tell you what, okay, so Jack Ross, if you're watching this, basically, my mistake saying he's still got 5 more games to stay job.
Well, you're looking quite safe.
That's what he's saying, really.
But yesterday, a lot of players did really well. I'm still not 100% sure about Ledbetter in the power combination in midfield. We are a bit slow from midfield coming forward. And also the right back, 09 is not really a natural right back. And if we want to progress in the championship, we need a proper right back. I'd like to see 09 play in Gooch's position, personally. I think he has the ability to do that job. And obviously, Denver Hume still come back, needs confidence. A couple of more games. The jury's out with Denver Hume. But apart from them, everybody else was solid. Ozturk and Willis was great partnerships, growing still. The goal that we let in, I think, was because 09 didn't pick up the man on the left. So apart from that, 3-1, you can't complain with the 3-1. It's building blocks. We're getting better with each game. But don't get carried away too soon.
Yeah, you can't complain about that. I'm going to complain because I want clean sheets. I bang on about it enough times. No, I mean, like you said, you can't. It rates me when we don't keep a clean sheet. But however, I will tolerate it. Obviously, if we continue to pick up 2-1s and 3-1s. Yeah. So I mean, like you said, I think the only negative was the goal, because I thought, apart from when Wimbledon scored to half time, it was all Sunderland, really. And you can see a part of that.
Come in a bit, because we can't see that shoulder there. There you go. Right.
Sorry, lad. No, I mean, like, I feel sorry, I'm squeezing you. Yeah. No, I mean, apart
Where's
from
your hands? That's what I want. No, his.
Oh, all right. He's too busy calculating future games. No, I mean, look, apart from when Wimbledon scored to half time, safe to say it was all Sunderland, and you could say a part of that is down to that Wimbledon aren't very good. But let's not forget, the games were close last year against these, and I don't know how different the sides are from last year to this year, but I mean, Wimbledon, just to put into context, they played Rotherham, Ipswich, and us, and Fleetwood. All of whom are in the top. I think like 3 of them are in the top 6. So it's not exactly been an easy start for Wimbledon, but yeah, I mean, yesterday you can only beat what's in front of you at the end of the day, and I'm sure we'll get onto him. King Maguire getting a nice, lovely hat trick. So.
I mean, his first goal was class, though, wasn't it?
It was brilliant.
I thought, lovely, delicate touch.
Well done, it, Sean?
I thought it was a decent performance. I mean, I wouldn't say it was great, but like the Mad Mistake said there, I mean, Wimbledon are definitely the worst side we have played this season by a mile. I think Denver Hume playing left back, I think he didn't really get tested, but he looked more comfortable than when he'd been playing left wing back. So I think, I think just keep him in that position, do the confuse the lads, let him just defend and then build his confidence up. He might get better, but we're sitting left back. Their goal was a sort of blow, like, I mean, we were dominated, like I just said, and then it was a lovely cross mind. But I think 09 was caught
defensively, we're all over the place. I was numb when it went in.
He got caught. What's happened here? I mean, 1-1 after we just totally dominated. But to be fair, we're coming up in the second half. We got the goal. Obviously, King Maguire got it, and then we got the third, and then it was happy days. It's just
right. Well, it's Spooky Wolf says, "What do we need to improve?"
Left back.
Still a left back, you're saying?
100%.
I still think he went forward a bit too much yesterday, and he did leave the back open a little bit.
But so I'm saying he didn't really get tested. They were power. I mean, in the defensive side of it, you're right. He didn't really get tested. He was getting forward a bit.
Yeah.
But he's got to stop that. I mean, last season he's done a lot where he was getting caught out. The first game against Oxford, he was keeping getting caught out all the time.
I do think it does help though that Hume is playing as a full back, not a wing back.
As
I've said before,
definitely.
I think you mentioned systems before countless times, but I know Jack Ross doesn't like people going on about systems too much, but when you're a wing back, your responsibility is to go up and down the pitch and provide all of the. But you've got to, not only that, but you've got to provide the full width. Nobody else is going to help you in that side of the pitch. And I think that if you had McGeady or if you had someone in front of him who does most of the attacking threat, I think Hume looked much more comfortable yesterday. I thought he had a pretty good game actually. So I think you're right. We do, as Sean said, we do definitely need left back for competition. But at the minute, I'm happy enough with Hume.
Obviously, the four was to me the last 4 games has been a 4-2-3-1. That's the way you set it up. I think
exactly.
I think that's the way. I think that seems to be the way forward. Like the 4. I mean, the 3 at the back, 3-4-3 and 3-5-2. You can just chuck that in the bin, because that's not going to work. To play that system with the wing backs, you need 2 good wing backs.
Exactly. I mean, you've just got to play the best formation system to the players that you've got. And Jack Ross, to be fair to him, for all his criticisms, has done that in the last few games.
Yeah.
I think long term, Dobson could probably come in centre as well.
I think that's the plan.
Definitely.
Well,
energy.
Yeah. We've mentioned him for the last 3 times we've done this panel, and I wasn't going to this time, but Taffy Mackham has decided to say, please God, bring Marcus Maddison to us. Did anybody see the goal he scored yesterday?
No,
I saw on Twitter somewhere that apparently
I'm not saying
Sky Bet League wants saying Marcus Maddison doing Marcus Maddison thing.
Absolute screamer. He must be, I don't know, he's got the ball, he's come inside, he's got to be 30 yards out, and he's just whacked it top corner, and it is an absolute, it's a beauty. If you get a chance to see it, it's a cracker. But we mentioned last week that...
It's been mentioned every week, hasn't it?
Yeah, but and last week we did say, in Stuart Donald's interview, reading between the lines,
just doesn't look like it's going to happen.
I'd be very surprised if it does.
I mean, it kind of heartbreaks me a little bit that it isn't going to, because he's got quite a few assists already. And I just think he would probably be perfect for Grigg in front of him.
Can you imagine that 3 though, like McGeady, Maguire, and Madison just behind the striker?
Well, even you have McGeady and Madison. If you had them as a front as 2 of the wings in the front 3, you had someone like Grigg up front, even, or McNulty.
You're going to get goals.
I mean. We've stated it. We've made it public. We've made it more or less public that we're not going to get him. So, Taffy, I love your ambition. I fully agree with you. I'd love to have him, but sadly, I just don't think we've got to let it go, I'm afraid.
Right. Okay. So once again, yesterday we conceded a goal, which we always do, and we always say on this panel, if we can put that right where we don't concede, we're going to walk this league, basically. But again, we conceded a goal. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it back yet properly. So, were we unlucky? Or were we sloppy?
I just say that
it was bad defending.
It was bad.
So it was sloppy, was it?
It was a lovely cross.
Yeah, it was a cross coming in from the right, and then I think someone got in between 09 and Willis. I think got himself in a free space in 6-yard area and just headed it downwards into the net.
I think it was 09's fault.
Mind you, people have been claiming that McLaughlin could have came for it though.
I think
it was more bad defending.
I think Willis and Ozturk picked up the man, but 09 didn't pick up his man. He was completely free. If you watched, he's just standing there watching the ball.
It was definitely 09.
If you look at the highlights again, though, Willis and Ozturk are both trying to mark the same man. Well, there's
another man just in front of Willis, isn't it? To the right of Willis.
Pretty much.
It's not his man to watch.
Mike, I want to play Conor McLaughlin right back, play him in his position, and put 09 and push him forward.
We need a right back.
I've not been impressed by Conor McLaughlin.
No, he's been playing left back though, Michael. He's not a left back. You put him there. If you play him on his right side, he might be.
Let's face the first 3 games, right? Pre-season, you played him as a centre back, and then he hasn't played right back once, has he? He hasn't played his
position as well.
That's true, but I will counteract that. On Tuesday against Rochdale were targeting his side every single time they went forward.
Now,
granted, that is Danny's playing as a left back, and look, I agree. I think that it has not helped him whatsoever that Ross has been playing him out of position. But for me, I think 09 and Hume, I'm happy with them as the fullbacks for the minute.
I would drop Gooch, put 09 in Gooch's position, and play Conor McLaughlin as right back, and to see how it goes.
I mean, sort of to get back, like the goal was pretty bad. I mean, I was numb when it went in. I just thought But I did say though that we were dominating the game at 1-0, dominate, and we were not taking our chances. We weren't putting them away. I was thinking they're going to get one in here. If
we're too slow going forward as well. That was the problem.
Well, this is what the next point I wanted to sort of get onto was the Conor McLaughlin, Denver Hume thing. Now, like we say, Conor McLaughlin he's a right back, and so to accommodate Luke O'Nien, he was going to left back, and he was struggling at left back. Well, he wasn't setting the world alight. So obviously, what Jack Ross has done yesterday is he's brought Denver Hume in, who is a left back, right? So they can leave Luke O'Nien at right back, and Conor McLaughlin's been dropped from the team. Now, is that fair on Conor McLaughlin? Should he not have been given the right back and then move Luke O'Nien up the field?
Exactly. That's a good point. I mean, you put the lad in left.
Thanks for that. Cheers.
He's put the lad in left back and he's right back, and obviously he's had a couple of bad games. It's not his confidence, and like you see in the Rochdale game, they were just going down that side all the time, and that's where the danger was coming from. You know what I mean? So I don't think Jack Ross again. I don't think he's done him good by playing him there when he could have played him in his position right back. But then
I think to counter that though, like at Rochdale in particular, there was so many times when he was nowhere near his man on the left hand side, and whatever position you're playing, you should be able to get tight to your man. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm hoping I'm being proved wrong here. I've just not been, and I'm usually one of the most patient people for players, but I've just noticed that I think actually against Portsmouth he was all right, but most of the team defensively, I think that was our best performance this season off the ball. But I just think I've not been entirely convinced with him. But if he comes in later and proves me wrong, everyone feel free to hold me to this, and I'll hold my hands up.
Let's face it, guys. I was a runner, and I used to do really well in 10Ks, half marathons, and marathons. You put me in a 200-metre sprint, I come last.
Before we stop there, how good was you in the country? No, listen to this. How good was you in the whole country? You were very good.
Right, I got 2 England vests at one point.
2 England vests.
Hey, nice one.
Say.
Probably C-rated.
He nicked them and nobody could catch him.
You had to make me laugh when I had water in my mouth.
So if I'm doing a 10K race and you put me in a 200, 400-metre sprint, I'd come last. So Conor McLaughlin's a right back. He's got the CV. He's playing right back for his country, for his loads of clubs. Yeah. He's done it. Yeah. So why not give him a chance at right back and move O'Nien to midfield where he naturally belongs?
I just go back to O'Nien and the Rochdale game. I watched the Rochdale game during the week, and O'Nien had 2 assists. Does that show you something as well? He's playing right back, but he got 2 assists against Rochdale. Obviously, he played the ball to McGeady. McGeady put it in the bottom corner, excellent finish, and obviously the cross went to McGeady again, and the White put it in, but it's still sort of 2 assists.
Well, exactly.
I'm saying if you play the lad further up, he might come good.
I think if you're just comparing O'Nien to McLaughlin, I think O'Nien's got a bit more mobility about him. I think he can, I think McLaughlin is some more. I mean, I will stick up for him actually. Yeah, McLaughlin in that when he was last in League One, he was in Team of the Season. So clearly he's going to be in that team. And even then, that was only about 3 years ago.
Where did he play in that?
Yeah, I think I know what you're going to say here. Yeah. But look, I mean, he's going to have a part in the squad though. Yeah. Because we're going to get injuries at some point. Yeah. So, that's his chance to prove himself.
Yeah.
Right. We'll also come on to. Oh, by the way, if you are watching, if you'd kindly hit the like button for as well, then we can get these likes up on this video. That would be appreciated.
Massively appreciated.
Right. We're going to come on to Will Grigg and G Honeyfans 10, who actually he does our Instagram page for us. So thanks to you for that. Says, should we sell Grigg in January before his value drops even more?
No, I wouldn't. Do you know what? Honestly, I felt sorry for Mister because I watched him yesterday and he was running around, he was trying. I come back to the game during the week against Rochdale. Before the build-up, he won the header. Yeah, he actually got. Oh,
it was much better. Rochdale,
in the build-up of the goal, he won the header. So he got up and then obviously went down he crossed it over. So in the build-up of that goal, he's pretty. And the game on Saturday, he had a couple of chances. I was like, he's third when he's going to score, and he messed up.
Just didn't fall from him, did it?
I don't know. We was out of our seat. We were jumping up and down and went, he's missed.
I'm desperate for Grigg to do it. I honestly think for Grigg, the problem was before. I think there was, and I think was it my mistake touched on it. I think in previous panels, I did agree with that. I think Grigg needed to show a bit more passion that he wanted to play for Sunderland. And I'll tell you what, to be fair, against Rochdale, I thought he was very good when he came on, and I thought he was good yesterday when he came on.
He was.
But the thing is, the difference now though is that he's getting chances, he's getting opportunities, and the more opportunities he gets, goals will come along.
Oh, definitely.
We can't just. We can't write off
No,
altogether already.
I-
His record in this league has proven that he's a good striker if given the service.
Exactly.
So if we get service to him, he can cause defenders. I mean, he tore Wimbledon to shreds yesterday when
Yeah.
he came on. Look at that chance he had.
Yeah.
He had them on toast.
I mean, I think it's a bit unfair. People is criticising people, but he is trying now, and it will happen.
Yeah.
I'm convinced it will. Once he gets the goal, he'll bang them in.
Yeah.
He will.
Well, he didn't cost us the money. He cost us for nothing. He's a proven goal scorer, certainly in this league.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
and just a quick one for Slothy there. Yes, I've seen Marcus Maddison's goal. We did discuss it. So if you'd have tuned in earlier, you would have known.
Let's face it,
As you told.
So there now.
George Honeyman fans, if the new owners come in, money won't matter. Will Griggs' money won't matter whatsoever. Just be pennies.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if we go up, then people won't be talking about the fee.
I mean, just going, if we do go up this year, I mean, looking at our squad now, it's going to need a massive fit in. We're going to need a massive improvement in that squad for next if we get the championship.
Yeah. I was going to say
that's a tough league.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but we need to make sure we get out of League One first.
Oh, that's
we need to make sure we get
that's the
promoted
thing.
first.
Right. Well, because we just mentioned about sticking Conor McLaughlin in at right back and then moving Luke O'Nien further up. Charlie Hodgson here. O'Nien would be useless right wing, crossing poor, vision poor, and he's slow. Do we agree?
I don't agree with the last bit. I don't think he's that slow, but I think that you'd have to have a lot more of an end product about you. But as you said, though, he got to assist him. And that's from right back when you're starting in a defensive position. So
I don't know if I'm seeing something different, but I don't think he's that bad at crossing the ball. I've not seen him them going.
No,
Am I missing it? Or what?
No, he's probably. I mean, we haven't got many good crosses in our team. And I will back up there for he's decent. I mean,
but I'll tell you what, his energy's fantastic.
He went through a bit well.
I do think he had probably one of his worst games yesterday. I didn't think his passing was fantastic yesterday.
I
think all players go through that, but I think if you played in the right position, you have to be given a chance in the right position.
Yeah,
playing right back all last season.
Like I said, though, he did well on Tuesday against Rochdale and got to assist in that game. But that was a game where we were under the cosh for about 85% of it.
He got a yellow card early on, didn't he? So I think I think it was the 11th, 12th minute.
Something like that.
He got a yellow card, and I think you had to be careful after that.
But I'll tell you, if you guys watched the first goal against Rochdale, his movement for it and helping in the build-up was magnificent. The way he drifted into the box, and I think it was O'Nien who directly fed the ball to McGeady. Through a host of players, by the way.
Perfect pass.
So yeah.
As well, I saw him a lot of times on the sort of on the touchline in the opposition's box. And he's doing a lot of running about. It's going to take a lot of toll on him. He's in his right position up front already. He won't be doing as much running about.
Yeah, he won't be having to get all the way up there.
Yeah.
So I think you sort of touched on this a few minutes ago about are we still too defensive then? Do you think we attacked them sort of well yesterday? I mean, I know it was a lot better than it's been, and I know, again, no disrespect to Wimbledon. Wimbledon weren't good at all. But there were times where, I thought those periods of the game where they just seemed to be sort of they took the foot off the gas and sitting back a bit.
I was amazed that they were doing it like 2-1, 3-1 down.
That's because, for me, Bitter and Power are too similar, aren't they?
One
of them needs to break forward. They've had loads of space in front of them yesterday, and they weren't going forward with pace. They were just really slow.
I think the best way to look at it is that to see how we're going to test ourselves against Peterborough.
That's a massive test.
If you look away from home, Peterborough's going to be 10 times better than what Wimbledon were. I can understand Ross's tactics to an extent against Ipswich and Peterborough, the teams that are going to be up there. Because if we're top of the league, for example, and they're right on our tails, the minimum requirement is you don't lose the game.
Exactly.
So but I mean, in terms of the teams down near the bottom, could we go for it? We go for it a bit more, but at the end of the day, you could say Ross could argue and point that the system that he's playing 4-2-3-1 has just got us 4 wins on the bounce. One of which was against Portsmouth, who's one of the better teams in the division.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely play that system against.
Doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, Maguire seems to be interchangeable with his positions, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to have a set angle, set role.
Okay then, Jack Ross again. So we're now 4 wins. 4 back-to-back wins. Not to be fair, people on this panel were, we weren't well other than Matam FC who wanted him out like tomorrow. But there was a lot of, there was a lot of uproar after the Oxford and the Ipswich game, and people just wanted him gone and what have you. Where do we stand now then? For the, people saying 10 games, end of the season.
At the end of the day, for me, I'll come back to what I said last week. I think an half-decent manager last season. If we had a half-decent manager last season, I think we would have get promoted. That's just my opinion. People mightn't agree with us. I just think that, if he sometimes his negative approach baffles me. Sometimes the way he approaches games and stuff.
Cautious, isn't he?
Oh, really?
But
really cautious, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be like that in this league. I mean, if you're in the Premier League, you play against Manchester City, you just defend for your life and try and nick someone. In this league, we should be like, we're the big boys, we should be like saying to these teams, look, like you're playing Sunderland Football Club. Do you know what I mean? You're playing some, we're going to turn
our players are basically all League One standard, aren't they? So we know better than other teams in that league.
That's true.
There's a couple of them who are Championship standard, really.
Yeah, but I mean...
Well, I mean, as in come from used to playing at a higher level.
Yeah.
Whether they're good enough now, I don't know, but,
I mean, like I say, we all wish Jack Ross all the best. We want him to succeed, and he almost did it last season. All you had to do was just tweak one or two things this season. It's coming together. He's unbeaten so far. I want him to go unbeaten all season and win this league like he says by Easter.
Is that
by Easter?
Promotion by Easter.
Isn't that the fine line though between that? I was saying last week. We were so close, but good managers win the big games, and have to find you as a top manager and not a good manager. I mean, I'm hoping that he can get it right this season, because I was thinking the big games last season, he just fell short. I mean, we've got a lucky goal against Charlton in the final. What he did, he stuck 10 men behind the ball.
Yeah, it has been fine margins for Jack Ross, because obviously, don't get me wrong, I know we didn't, so this point does to an extent kind of not matter, but you look at if those games had swung the other way, people wouldn't be saying it. So, we weren't exactly battered in any single one of those games. I can't think of a game last year where we.
I just think it was too defensive. We didn't need it. When we went 1-0 up against Charlton, this is our day. This is what we're going to do.
So, do you think that's wholly Jack Ross though? Do you think that's sometimes the players' fault? I think sometimes the players are instinctively sitting back later on in the game.
But is that the manager saying this?
Not necessarily. So sometimes it probably is, but I wouldn't say that Jack Ross tells them to just sit back and not go for a second goal.
That's the way it comes across to me.
But if you look in the playoff final though, there was a period 10 minutes after the goal where we were pressing for a second, and then we just said. Which, granted, after that we dropped off. So it's a mixture of both for me.
Just against Portsmouth, we were outstanding in the Championship final. The first half were unbelievable. If we just get a second goal, and then we're coming to the second half, and it's just like you're just sitting further back, and I'm going, we're going to concede here. And then obviously
saying that though, Jack Ross doesn't account for Reece James switching off at the back post and allowing someone to outjump him. Sometimes it's individual mistakes, and Jack Ross can't be held accountable as much.
Yeah, but if you've got a good defence to sort of defend the lead,
then play should be switched on. That should be down to them as well.
Well,
so I'm not trying to throw you under the bus here, but
we'll see his intentions if he starts Dobson soon, because Dobson's more of a box-to-box player and likes of power and lead.
I think Dobson against the likes of Wimbledon would have flourished yesterday, but we won the game.
That's where you got it. I mean, I thought we were good, but I think Wimbledon made us look good as well. I think they were we were really. I think they were easily the worst side we played by a mile.
Right. Well, still on Jack Ross, we made a comment last week, we might have done it the week before, about how we'd like to see him more animated on the side of the pitch. He stands with his hands in his pockets, and somebody made the comment that it doesn't matter whether he waves his hands about or not. It's irrelevant. However, when we was down at Rochdale midweek, Karen pointed out to me. She said, Jack Ross, something happened. I think one of our players got badly fouled or whatever. And he was going mental, and he's like this and all that. And she said, obviously, Jack Ross has watched the panel, watched this show last week, because all of a sudden, all season he stood with his hands in his pockets. So, Jack, thanks for listening to us. And
so, Jack, if you're going to watch the panel more, can you buy Marcus Madison, please?
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, Jack.
Look at it. I think I've said before that I think a lot gets made of a manager being animated on the touchline. I mean, It is. I mean, I think it's something that people point to when we're not winning.
It's irrelevant, to be honest.
Ultimately,
but,
I mean, when you look at it, like
yeah.
Pochettino, for example, goes mental at Tottenham. What's he won? Nothing.
Yeah.
And I rate Pochettino highly. But
he's
my point is that Benitez did it at Newcastle, for example. Didn't win anything with them. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think there's.
I know what you mean. It doesn't define you as a manager if you go on nuts on the sideline.
Because you're not going.
But if your team's not playing very well, and like
I know what you mean. He could
the
be
first
showing
15 minutes,
more
he could be like, come on, let's get like shout them and see, let's get switched on. You know what I mean?
I think just because you don't go mental on the sidelines doesn't mean
No,
that you don't care.
No, it doesn't.
You know, I'm getting quite tired of hearing that personally, but that's just me. I'm probably the minority here.
Right, we've got a question from William Tucker here saying that do we start McNulty and Maguire in behind the striker? Both quality, but who do we start? Well, who do we start? Can we not play them both together?
To me, I think that question implies, maybe I'm reading it wrong. That question implies White's being dropped, and I don't think he deserves to be.
Well, I think White's dropped.
I think maybe, who knows? I think White's been excellent.
Well, they're saying behind the striker. So
my fault, didn't read it
keeping the striker.
Oh, right. And dropping Gooch. Is that what he means?
Well, it depends.
He's been out of three. I don't
know. Ask him, and he'll tell you.
Explain what you mean into more detail.
It depends if McNulty's back to full fitness, really, at the moment. I think with Maguire, it's on very good form. He's got 4 goals in his last 3. But you know, I think is it the right time to tinker with it? Especially when we're going again. We've got Peterborough and Burton coming up.
You've got to go in that game, and you've got to play the team. What's one of your last 3-4 games?
Keep cohesion together.
You know what I mean?
It's.
I'm just a bit worried about obviously. Denver Hume and the Peterborough game. I'm a bit worried down that side because I think they'll try and expose him on that game. Like, if I'm being honest.
Maybe, but
they'll say that as the weakness.
Maybe again,
our fullbacks they'll get the crosses in.
Somewhere like Peterborough, I'm worried about the centre midfield partnership. Personally,
Well, this is
strong enough.
Here we go, and I don't know if you've been reading my notes because it was going to come on to Ledbetter and Power. That pairing.
I can't read.
No, yeah.
Allegedly.
I'll draw you a picture. There you go.
Allegedly.
There you go.
What? He's drawing a picture of his face.
All right, there you go. All right. We're like kids on here. I'll bring me crayons next week. Right. The centre pairing then, Ledbetter and Power. You're saying jury's out on them still, yes?
I do definitely think so. Definitely, I think the jury's out. I don't think it's a strong enough partnership for me. I think probably you need to rest one of them because they've played a lot of games and they've both been injured.
And your preference then would be?
I would probably strengthen the midfield more, playing away to Peterborough and play more of a attacking midfield if I want to Wimbledon. So yesterday we should start Dobson for me and drop Power, drop Ledbetter. And then against Peterborough, possibly make the midfield more strong, go 4-5-1.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, yesterday, I thought when McGeoch came on, I thought McGeoch was brilliant when he came on. I really do. I think he had a great game when he came on. But see, we've not seen Dobson play enough to see what he's like or how he can handle it. But I like the fact that, like you say, he's a box-to-box player, and that's definitely for me what we're lacking.
They're too similar, Ledbetter and Power. They're too similar. Like it's a bit too robotic in the middle, if you know what I mean. It's just we need somebody like you see who's got that energy. I mean, Dobson, you know what I mean, or Nine. I don't know. The two of them together. I know we've won 4 games, but I agree with my mistake there. Like I
always saw Power in the past, like for Wigan, he went forward more. He was more attacking midfield. He had more energy, and it seems like his players what he's been told to do that.
I think it depends on. I think it's got to be pragmatism included in this as well. But I think it should depend on who we're playing. So if you're talking away at Peterborough.
What's pragmatism?
Pragmatism.
Hang on, what's pragmatism?
It's basically where you adapt to who you're playing.
Yes.
First shows us up there.
If you're going to use them words, you're off the panel. Is that right?
We're live.
So pragmatism. Like I said, for me, if you adapt to who you're playing, if you go away at the likes of Peterborough, the likes of Portsmouth, and if you're playing Rotherham, I can understand playing Power and Ledbetter there because I think you do the experience. Let's not forget that was Portsmouth was the first league game we tried that, and it worked to a T.
Taffy Mams has said that Barley and Rio was similar. That's a point.
Fair enough.
Do you remember Kevin Boyle and Alex Ray in the middle?
Alex Ray scored goals, though, didn't he?
That's
Yeah, but before my time, all that, I don't remember that far.
One of my favourite players of all time, Alex Ray. What a bloke.
Oh, it was
hard as nails.
Was.
You want someone to put your foot in. Same as Bolly was as well, hard as nails. Like,
Bolly,
Are you trying to get him to come back and sign a new deal?
let's be on the coaching staff, Alex. Come on, pop on.
Yeah, it's all down here, mate.
So these midfielders have to score.
Like I said, for me, it depends on who we're playing against. I think if you're going home games against the bottom half of the league, then yeah, I would like to see a bit more energy.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Yeah, Colin Major, ask Jack Ross on as a guest sometime. That would be good. We'll give him a ring and see if he's free next Sunday. Interrupt his Sunday dinner to come on, but
Can have a Sunday dinner here.
We've got a spare shirt for you, Jack.
You get a free dinner. You get a free dinner.
come to Hastings Hill and you'll get a Sunday dinner for nothing. And if you want to stay at home and you don't want to come on, then they'll deliver for you as well. So how good's that?
Don't give them the option. You've got to get them
So-
got to give them the option to actually come here.
So, but the thing is we played Leadbitter and Power now on these last 4 games,
And it's
Yeah,
1-4, hasn't it?
and we've got
But
4 victories, haven't we? So
I do think that's going to,
against better teams.
as the man mistake said, I think you're going to have to change it soon because Leadbitter, he's getting on a bit. He's great on the ball, but he hasn't got the legs. So you're going to have to change it up and save him for another game. Maybe.
Sorry, did I miss something yesterday? What did Gooch do yesterday? Was he good? Because I can't.
I thought he did it. He did a lot of running about.
I think he was okay.
He did his normal thing that he ran until he ran into trouble, sort of thing. I don't know.
It was disappointing when he come off because he came off down my side of the pitch, and the lads next to me were seeing him off. They took him off, they was basically saying he was doing a lot of grafting. But then when he come off, he wasn't very happy.
So you thought he deserved to be subbed?
I don't know, can we not play a system where, like, we're at Peterborough, you accommodate Power and Leadbitter, we have another midfielder just in front of them that actually gets into the box and then actually gets back. We've got the energy like Dobson, someone who can actually help with the defensive side as well.
Are you Dobson's agent?
I just want to see quality when I say, Dobson, if you are watching, we do know some sponsorships.
Dobson's mad mistake.
I think against Peterborough will be a lot more defensive, I think. It's going to be a case of it'll be a Jack Ross type of game. This, I believe. I think he'll just try and keep it tight and maybe sneak a goal.
In fairness to Jack Ross, I'd probably stick to Power and Leadbitter for Peterborough itself. I would probably stick with that because I think Peterborough are going to really come at us because that's what they've won their last couple of games. They're going to be flying on forward. They're going to be coming at us, and I think that if you have Power and Leadbitter to break up the play, and then maybe have Leadbitter stay back in front of the back four and Power push on a little bit further, I think that could really benefit us in a game.
I think you could have McGeady and Maguire on either side, right in front, and you could have Dobson in the centre, just in front of Power and Leadbitter, couldn't you?
Yeah,
possibly.
Well,
you really are Dobson's agent, aren't you?
Clayton Edwards basically saying that yesterday the weak spot was the midfield, and suggesting that McGeoch or Dobson in there. So, was midfield our weak spot yesterday?
Like I said, it was just too slow going forward. We didn't have Maguire yesterday. I think it would have been more of a tight game, wouldn't it? Because Maguire had the killer touch. He's the person who could change a game.
He just had that magic, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that's why he's the king. He's the magic, He's just. I mean, that first goal was sublime. It was brilliant.
As the man mistake said last week, I totally agree with what he said. During the season, as a manager as well, you've got to see when players are dipping out of form. Like Maguire last season started the season well, and he sort of dipped it out, and Jack Ross did take him out for a while. You know what I mean? Because Maguire's he's a good player when he's playing well, but he's got a bit of an attitude as well. I think a lot of that Bury, a really bad attitude.
I mean, circumstances of Bury off the pitch are completely different to what they were here. But I think that's what, like you said, the players didn't have home. That's what competition's for. Yeah. That's what you've got them for. McGeoch and Dobson later down the line will no doubt play a part, I'm sure of it. I mean, McGeoch would have done, otherwise he wouldn't have agreed to stay here.
Yeah.
Maguire's the kind of character I think for being called the king. Like, I mean, you just see he just loves it, so
he can get away with it. He can get away with it.
Sorry, just carry on talking. All right then.
Cameraman.
We probably know
Dino James.
Hiya, Dino. You're right. Thanks for doing the camera work.
James Pickering.
Right. Man of the match then yesterday.
There's no brainer, it's Maguire, isn't it?
That's why when I was doing my interviews yesterday, I was saying we know our man of the match was who was the next best players.
But Charlie White was good as well.
Oh, he grafted
as much headers he won.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have said White for man of the match, but I couldn't really.
The man mistake could be our left back and Philly next to Leadbitter.
I'm far too old. Far too old.
Let's
And
get a
I'm
campaign on.
far
Let's
too
get a campaign
fat.
on to get these two playing.
That's quality. Who said that? That's quality.
It's Bobby Kelly, yeah.
So we
I can run all day, but I can't pass the ball.
are we all in agreement then that it goes to Maguire?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Well,
I'd have
Danny is not. Who was the last Sunderland player to score a hat-trick? Michael knows.
Well, I know
Oh,
it was.
it
I've
was-
seen it. It's
It's Defoe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Defoe
Defoe
away
yeah.
at Swansea. I think in the
Jermaine
Premier League,
Jermaine
in the
Defoe,
league, in the league anyway.
That was
it's
my
away
first
Swansea.
thing that caught my head. Like,
I know.
I can't recall anybody scoring a hat-trick in the Championship. We got really
Don't
good.
think anyone scored two goals in the Championship, probably let alone 3.
right. So Rochdale in the week as well. That was you went down, didn't you?
Yeah, we
you was
did.
down. Was so it was again. That was a funny one because at least it was 3 points we needed, but
It was a very hard fought game.
Rochdale played very well.
We were hanging on in the end of that game, like
I
big
think-
time.
I think if you look at it just in terms of performance, who played again? I think Rochdale's probably played the best against us
Definitely,
so far out of all the ones.
Yeah,
They're not in terms of on paper the best side in the league like Ipswich and Pompey are supposed to be, but Rochdale were really up for it.
Get some nice stuff like, didn't they?
I mean, haven't they changed? I think someone said they changed their coach in the summer as well.
I think,
And you can definitely tell by the looks of it because they're adapting a more passing style.
Yeah.
They were very good on Tuesday.
Well, I know there's a Rochdale fan. He comes up to Sunderland all the time, Scott, if you're watching. We met up with him before the game and he was telling us sort of their weaknesses. And he said they've got this Spanish goalie in who likes to just try and take people on and he loses the ball all the time. And that's because he pointed that out to us. We were watching him and there was a couple of times that he was a bit dodgy. But time's getting on. So moving on then to Wednesday, Burnley. I was going to go down to Burnley, but we're going on the lash all day tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to be in a fit state. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to take some predictions for Burnley. So the mad mistake.
1-0 win.
A 1-0 win.
Ooh. You have to live it.
Michael?
So go the 1-1. It depends because Burnley are going to play a reserve side as well, so I think it's also.
Yes,
Yes, I'm going to go 1-1.
I know. Well, are we going to win? Are we going to win on penalties then, are we?
Fine, I'll be optimistic, yes.
So it's a 1-1 and then
Penalty shootout win.
ends win. Sean?
4-1 to Burnley.
4-1.
Yeah.
Even though, like Michael says, it'll be a weakened team.
Yeah. Then again,
Are we gonna play a reserve side?
I don't think we should be bothered. For me, it's just it's getting promoted this season.
ultimately, I wouldn't be bothered if we lost.
Definitely
You know.
not. No. It's
4-1 Burnley. So put your money on that because that looks like where it'll be. You're 2 in a row right now, aren't you?
You and Jacob start your own booking.
Well, I can't back against Sunderland, so I'm gonna have to say a 1-0 win like that.
Be good for confidence, mind.
Well,
Definitely.
absolutely it would.
You know.
So are we also saying that game should just be use the practice match
Get a
and
squad
maybe
players.
give some squad players a run out?
Definitely.
Because we did say that about when we went to Accrington, but we went to Accrington off the back of 2 draws. So
build the confidence.
and I do think he used the Accrington game to put right the wrongs of that. Whereas now we're on this bit of a run. Do we rest those players who are performing and make this a lesson
I think
important?
Dobson's got to come in, isn't he? I think he's got to come in that game. I think the rest led better. I think
There'll be a few of them a few of these that have played recently might probably get a start. But I think the difference was now that with Accrington, I think it would have been quite a low point had we lost to Accrington, even though I said myself at the time I wasn't bothered. With Burnley, though, they're a Premier League side.
Exactly.
And even though they're not going to play the strongest team, they're going to be. If we lose to a Premier League ground. I think
but winning at a Premier League ground, well,
yeah.
you know,
No,
be good,
it would be a big boost for a.
Let's face it, you've got to start like Sir Will Grigg, you've got to start McGee, you've got to start Dobson.
Yeah.
You've got to.
But see, all these players are still, they're still decent players we can put in.
Yeah,
exactly.
If we do get beat, we can't be too harsh on these lads because it's a good Premier League side. You know, we've got to give them the time. These players need some time on the park to get fit. You know, like they put their foot in and need to sort of, show Jack Ross what they can do for the league matches. But if we do get beaten, we do get hammered 4-0. Just don't be too harsh on them.
It's not the end of the world. It's not the end, isn't it? Like the mistake said, it's about getting promoted this season. Yeah, put a squad up, try and win the game. But if we lose, it's just delayed cup. But do we really need it? No.
Well, Clayton Edwards there says get Embleton.
No, give him a go.
Yeah,
you
You
know,
rest
it's a
McGuire, you
good
rest
shout.
McGeady.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, definitely.
So, right then, so we get Burnley out of the way, and we're through the next round of the Carabao Cup. And then we move on to Saturday, and again, back to important business in the league, away to Peterborough. Where are Peterborough in the league? They're doing all right, aren't they?
They won't be far off the playoffs. I haven't checked the table, but they've won their last two.
They had a good
games.
win yesterday, didn't they?
4-4 now.
MK Dons, and they beat Southend in the week 2-0 as well.
I think going back to last season, the game down there, that was probably the worst I've felt after a game. Well, apart from the Wembley game, but obviously we scored in the 87th minute, max power.
That game, some
I
Sunderland.
was jumping on in the sitting room, and my partner, and I was thinking, we're going to get the 3 points vitally, and we couldn't see the 97th minute.
Yeah,
I mean,
this game will be tough.
If we can get the goal, then get 3 points, it'll be a massive win.
Definitely
massive.
So,
if we play the same team as we've been playing over the last few weeks, we'll be lucky to get a 2-2 draw. I'm going to go for 2-2.
That's my score.
all right, so you're going to put
That's my score, 2-2.
Yeah, I'm going 2-2, and I think
It'll be goals.
the way we played
Anything
against
we're
Rochdale,
I was
we're
gonna say-
lucky to get
I
a
was
win
gonna say
against
3-3,
Rochdale.
yeah.
Rochdale, to be honest, last 15 minutes, we should have lost. They had 2 or 3 fantastic chances. We were nowhere to be seen. It wasn't for John McLaughlin's fantastic saves against Rochdale, we would have lost that match.
Oh, definitely.
So Peterborough could be a better team than Rochdale, so we have to raise our game against Peterborough.
Well,
We need to get a
We've
draw
got
at
to be switched
least.
on. We've got to be switched
but
on.
on the other hand, I think our players' performance would hopefully be better against Peterborough. Though.
But the thing is, as well, Peterborough, I mean, we're saying, they come off the back of the 4-0 win yesterday. I think it was it MK Dons they played?
Something like that, I think.
I think it was MK Dons. So, and again, no disrespect to MK Dons, but haven't they've just been promoted, and do we not give teams too much respect as well? I mean, it's a difficult one because you got to, but we are the biggest team in this league, and we shouldn't be frightened of anybody.
Exactly.
They should be the ones who are thinking, right, if we can get a point, even if they're at home,
Teams should be coming up there, absolutely, thinking themselves, shouldn't they?
thinking themselves. Just
Right.
shitting themselves.
Like
Don't matter.
Bricking
You
themselves.
No, they should be. The team
I said, just don't swear out of context. Shitting themselves is
Just say bricking themselves. It's a good way. Not swearing he gets the point across.
so. So you're saying 2-2, and you
2-2.
think we'll be lucky to get a
I do,
2-2.
with that same score, we played it. Same set of partnership, same defence with 09 and Denver Human. I think we'll be looking to get 2-2.
Do you think Marcus Madison might play out of his skin as well?
I think he will.
Well, that's the point. When does the transfer window close?
September the 2nd. So that's a
Thank you,
week
Tom, yeah.
tomorrow, I think. Week on Monday.
So it'll still be open when we play them. So the thing is he then? But is Marcus Madison then not going to play out of his skin to go, this is what you can have?
Well,
Maybe.
possibly if you support Sunderland.
I mean, if Peterborough watched the Rochdale game, our goal against Rochdale we let in, we had 7 players in the box, and their number 10 was unmarked with about 10 yards all around him, 3 shots. Where was the midfielders marking there on that play?
You say, so do you think if you put Dobson in that midfield?
The midfielders should have done the job, yeah. Shouldn't have been too worried about having 7 players in the box and should pick up the man.
That's a good point. That their goal was he was by selling number 10. I don't know who
Yeah,
was
that quality.
marking him. You know what I mean? It was just nobody else.
The only one thing I'm certain of with Peterborough, I'll be astonished if they finish as 0-0. Both teams will score.
There's going to be goals in
Both
that game.
teams will
There's
score,
going to be
surely.
goals in that game.
So it's going to be 0-0, obviously. So,
0-0.
Sean, so what are you saying for your prediction?
Say 3-3, 2-2.
You're saying
I was going to say
2-2.
3-3. I think it's just going to be goals. I'd say.
So you're saying 2-2.
2-2.
Michael?
I'd say 1-1. I think we'll go in front in the first half, and I think Peterborough will batter us to an extent in the second half and get a draw. But I will stress, if we beat Burton afterwards, for example, if we get 4 points out of the next 2, I'll be pretty happy with that.
All right.
Well,
I'd like 6, obviously. But
for me, we're going to concede, unfortunately, and I'd like to think we could keep a clean sheet and then grab a goal, so it'd be 1-0. But I can't again go against Sunderland, so I'm going to say 2-1. to
Hopefully you're
Sunderland.
right.
I hope you're right, Philly.
And so do I.
Hopefully 3 out of 4 of us are wrong and Phil's right.
But we've got to try and stop this conceding. And the worrying thing is, yesterday at Wimbledon, poor side, and they still scored.
Yeah.
So,
It was just a-
you know, it's on paper.
Oh, yeah.
Peterborough next week are going to score a goal. You know, so
But in saying that though, like you said, if we kept a clean sheet on Saturday, I'd fancy us to win. I'd fancy us to win every game if we kept a clean sheet because we can score.
Of course, but we just didn't say like looking like keeping the clean sheet. I mean, it's just one lapse of concentration. That's all it was. It was a lovely ball in mind, but it was just.
But you see,
switched off.
I mean, Dean SCFC who's just commented, and shout out to you, mate. He's just pointed out Mo Isa, who they signed from Bristol City.
Good signing,
but he was good at. Was it Cheltenham beforehand?
It was no. Was
Oh no, it was. I'm trying to remember who it was. Exeter.
We were linking him up. No.
I know. Well, either way, whoever he was, he's a very, very good player for this league.
He's really.
But I think it might be the case. Once we keep one clean sheet, more could follow. It might be just because of getting that first one, and
Fingers
then
crossed,
you know. But you're going to get it by team cohesion and sticking with the same back four. I think that if you change it, it's not going to help.
Mm-hmm.
So, but well, sticking to the same back four. I mean, we've got the centre partnership there, but we keep still messing about with these fullbacks.
Yeah.
Now, is that what we see as the problem? Why we're letting goals in? That it's not the same back four all the time.
That's
it definitely doesn't help.
That's what happened last season. I thought he was just chopping and changing the back four all the time. I mean, obviously you can't help if you've got injuries and suspensions, but if you can just maybe, will you risk putting Denver Hume in that game and left back? I don't know.
I think.
Would you?
Yeah. I think he was all right. As poor as Wimbledon were, I think Denver Hume was all right, and I don't think there's any.
I don't think he got tested. I don't think he got tested though, Michael. I think it was just they didn't really offer anything.
But in fairness, when Denver Hume was playing, he's played poor. He's been as a wing back though. I think as a full back last year, I thought he did pretty well.
Yeah.
Sticking Denver Hume, sticking Conor McLaughlin on the right, and then move 9 to the subs or put him instead of Gooch.
Jack Ross, if you're watching.
No, I agree. I think we should.
Then we might stop making goals.
Maybe.
Stop the crosses coming in, and then if you stop the crosses.
If we get a win, though, it'll be big.
There you go, So was it Cheltenham?
Then Cheltenham. There you go. Thank you.
Then Bristol City.
So,
so we're saying draws then next week. Really, it's I mean, to be fair, we'd all be happy with a point.
Definitely,
I'd be content.
I've
been content with it.
Yeah.
As long as we beat Burton afterwards, then I'd be content with the draw.
But I think
Burton matches.
Burton might get postponed because international week, and we've got all those. I mean, our team is brimming with internationals.
It is,
No, it's top quality now.
So, right, well, that's almost it then from us here because he's got to get away because his wife's going to work. Look, thanks for tuning in. We still are desperate for volunteers. We need more reporters for the game, especially because we're going to lose Jake, who's moving back to London soon. So if you fancy doing a bit of reporting for us at the home games, please get in touch. Also, away games essential. If you travel away often and you fancy doing some fan reactions for us, that would be brilliant. People will get to know you on the channel. You become famous like Sean is. People come up, he'll be signing autographs and doing selfies and all that. So get in touch with us if you think you would like to volunteer your services. We'll be back again next week. We hope it's gone all right live for you and there's been no glitches. We'll be back from 3:00 next Sunday, where we'll talk about being in the next round of the Carabao Cup and the 3 points we've taken from Peterborough. So we'll see you then.
Thanks for watching.
See you.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Much appreciated. Thanks for watching.
Right, okay, right. So, right. So I did forget. So subscribe to the channel, please. Share it. Our individual channels, which we'll put in the description anyway. The Mad Mistake, Wee Philly, Michael Bowers, and we're going to try and get Sean a channel soon so you can subscribe to that. And that's it. Now, lads, what I need you to do now, I need you to just keep smiling while we turn this off. Otherwise, we'll all be all over the place. Just smile, smile. We'll see you soon. Next week. Bye.